Oh my goodness. Okay. On time for it. Yeah. What's up, y'all? Told you I would come back for a third round of this. So for anybody that's coming here in the future, this was a live show. This is why I kind of wait around for like 5 minutes for people to show up, and then, well, thank you, Rastafoo. I did this with the dynamic lighting in the background. This is all part of, it's actually a green screen, and I put all of this behind me. What's up? What's up, LOL? Unstance, good to see you, man. $33%, and I think that at the end of the last show there was 33 people in the room. Who knows? So what's up? Why did I come back here? What are we talking about this time? I came back here specifically for the one individual that what was her or his name that was curious about pee-pee. The urine drinkers anonymous, or not so anonymous. Yeah, that one. Thank you for, wow, you guys are, look at you guys, you know how to spell. Oh, terms of greatness. There we go. That's a good way. That's a good way to play. Ken McCann. Did I? Have you been on these before? Ken McCann. Kenneth McCann. Yeah. Okay. What up? That's so funny. I dig it. Terms of greatness. The writing backwards. Let's do this a few different ways. It's kind of like using your eyeballs. You look in different directions. You're using them to access different parts of your brain. Whenever you use your left hand to do something versus when you use your right hand to do something is the masculine or feminine aspect. The left brain is mathematical, organized, right-handed. It's masculine. The right hand is masculine. This even has to do with the right hand and left hand path of magic. Because there's not a good one and there's not a bad one. One is self-serving and one is outwardly serving. There's nothing wrong with either of them. People have just been over consuming one aspect of using one hand or one type of magic or one type of thing, one masculine patriarchal concept. And that's done in order, meaning rectilinear from first to second to third to fourth to fifth, and it's square, it's boxed in, and we're going to put things in an order that we can perceive as a masculine being. So this is why it was of the devil to use the left hand. Anybody that went to school in the 60s, 70s, if they went to religious schools, if you were writing with your left hand, they would smack you in the hand and tell you that's of the devil. This is real. My father was ambidextrous because he was not supposed to be, but he was more left hand dominant, but it got beat out of him to be right hand dominant. And the idea of this is getting into the deeper psychological aspects is this. That if you're writing on a page with your right hand and going from left to right and from up to down, you're pulling out of memory into creation. Memory to creation. Now, flipping that around, you get creation to memory. What is the significant thing here? In roto-learning, or to rotate, it spins something around a circle with the point in the middle. So when you go to church, or you go to classroom in school, you have a teacher or a preacher teaching the mass or the class, and it's called rota learning. Rota. It spins a circle, but it spins that circle by using the right hand to use part of your brain to take from memory to turn into creation. So what can you create if you're creating out of memory? Remember the movie The Inception? You never create out of memory because you'll end up doing the same thing over and over again. You get what's called cyclical or sick. It's very sick. It's diseased. It's a two-dimensional cycle or a cycle of using memory to create. It makes a circle. Now, by using the right hand, we're actually pulling out of that part of the brain that is the memory storehouse, which is the masculine, more referential is the masculine storehouse, to the creative aspect, which is feminine. Feminine is creation. It's dark as cave. It's the cave. It's cavernous. It's the darkness or black magic or left hand, which is feminine. So everything about the left hand is feminine and creative. It pulls out of what is called creation. And so if we were actually using our left hand to go that way, or if we were building up, we'd be taking out of creation, making a memory out of it. We'd be creating something new and adding it to our memory, rather than taking from a memory and thinking we're creating something new and we're really not. So the only thing that you're doing when we're writing from left to right with one hand, we're pulling out of memory into creation, making a cycle out of it. But what Da Vinci and all of the other great artists and people that understood back to front and front to back and top to bottom and top to bottom and bottom to top is you're actually using the other aspect of your being. You're using creation to form memory rather than using things that were already known. You're diving into the unknown realm, and by using language that we already know and has form and structure going in one direction and doing it in a different way, we're using something that is somewhat out of our memory, but we're flipping it around through, say, like a mirror, so we see what's on the other side of the mirror. And this is why I did a video a long time ago where you'd take A to Z, you'd say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and you go through this, and then you'll say that backwards. And by saying it backwards, you're reversing the spell. And by reversing the spell, you can reverse anything in consciousness, in all of being. If you look over my right shoulder here, what you'll see is IX, or is that XI? Is that 9 or is that 11? Very interesting and funny that it would be there, but nonetheless, if I push a button, I can see it from the opposite angle to see that concept from the other angle. Whoever's inside right now is seeing the opposite of what I'm seeing. But who's doing the creating? Are they doing it in there, or am I doing it out here? And the same thing works in the mind. If we realize there's a barrier, not a barrier, but more of a mirror, a dirty mirror in the middle of the brain that has actually split people's brains apart, that makes everybody right-handed. And you break that glass. It's a ceiling. It's a divider within your consciousness that doesn't allow you to create. This is why there aren't too many creative people, because everybody was built to be an automaton, to only use the right hand to go in one direction and follow the order and do what was done in front of you. I'm going to stand here in front of all of you and preach or teach, and you're gonna sit there and you're gonna learn, and you're gonna be the mass, the ass, the class, the bulk of the information that a small number of people do is always brought on to people through the creative aspect. The people that are standing in front tend to be doing things backwards. That's why the great magicians would do things backwards, because they're looking at the end and they're backwards mapping all of reality to say, this is where I want to go, and that's how I get there. And so they just step backwards. They're not going anywhere. They already know where they're at, and they just get to there. So the same way, by flipping things around and using our body in a way that we should be using anyways, but was taught only to do it this way, thinking about, we're not building when we're writing, we're actually pulling. We're pulling. So we want to actually push into creation. We want to do the opposite way. There are fire languages, there are water languages, there's building up, there's languages that are written up and down, there's symbolic languages. So these have a very big conscious, a very big influence on the way that you perceive the world. It's like even perceiving the world through, say, a culture that uses there are areas in the world where, like, say, India even, where there's no street names. They're not using the names of the streets, they're using the buildings. They're using the opposite thing. They're using the structure where in the Americas and most places you use the streets for the names, but they're using the opposite thing. It's the same way that I've spoken about before, the concept of, if you use language where the subject comes after the verb, it's different than if the noun and the verb, the subject of the verb, the action being. So if I say, the man runs, then my consciousness says, object moves. It's a concept, a masculine way of looking something. But if I say running was the man, then I would look at the verb first. I would look at the motion first. So therefore, the concept of the universe is absolutely polar opposite for the people that would say the man runs thinking the object is doing the acting or the action upon something. Perception of the way that we're writing comes out in the same way, where if you say running does the man, like think of Yoda, he's speaking the correct way because the universal mind was the creative force. The action always precludes, is a priori to the thing being built. You have to have the thought before you can create something. The thing that was created doesn't do the thinking. And so by using this and swapping it around, you get a taste of creating a universe. So there you go. What's up, Corey Lafferty? What's up, Love Katesh? Well, yeah, there's something to do with why statistically, but the system wasn't driven, for IQ tests and for other things to learn how to read, because the creation didn't occur through letters like that. The letters came after the creation, and there's something to do with nativity, Aboriginal thoughts, who the real people here were. The system was designed and regulated by unmelanated, patriarchal, etc., which gets in the way of how things are built, gets in the way of actual physical motherly, black and motherly structures, and we get into a patriarchal white thing. And this isn't saying like white man, it comes out that way, but we're saying white in the sense of wit, like the orderly demonic structures versus the feminine, curvy nature, like the nature of things. Nature speaks. There's nothing it needs to write. Its sign is its nature, and its nature is its sign. It grows to be what it is without doing anything. Oh, Terms of Greatness, what's up, man? The video that I made about the Green Mile and Tom Hanks, and I haven't looked any farther into it. There are many more. I don't know if I commented on that, but when I was looking into that, somebody had done a really long write-up on like 20 movies that all had urine and some sort of fountain and peeing into fountains and things like this, references. And I don't know if I mentioned it in that video. If I didn't, it'd probably be an easy thing to look up. It'll probably show up on your first search through the Googles to find movies with urine references in it. Manny Farm, Caucasians were the first on Earth. I don't know about that, man. Yeah. On this plane and realm that we live on, I really doubt that. I don't think there was a specific color was, but depending on what you mean by where are you saying on this, underneath this flat, you know, on this flat surface with this dome over top, with this where the equator was, it would seem like the most original basic species would have been melanated, not to any great degree, but to some degree. It would seem like if we were planted or seeded here by either a higher consciousness or even our higher selves, there would be no way that anybody wanted to live in a cold climate. And the melanin would have been a part of the experience of being more human, as there seem to be more superpowers in melanin. And I don't think the Caucasus or the Caucasian in the mountains, there's whether the higher levels are not whiter people or clearer. Like, there's no white and there's no black. There's black means white and white means black, but black means bleach, which means white, and wit means demon, which means black. So, you know, it's already confused to begin with what anybody means. All we're talking about is brown. It means either bleak, like the way that something is without any extra color to it, and brown. There's some shade of brown is what we're dealing with. Corey Lafferty, I don't know about Chem or Cam meaning black or Krishna meaning black and beautiful. I don't know anything about that. As Krishna was blue, and blue has to do with the pineal gland and the blueness of the those kind of beings of the astral realms tend to have a blueness, and this is where you get like a black and blue, but it wasn't really blue because, or it wasn't really black because black doesn't exist. But I don't know about that because I never met that person, nor does anybody really. I don't know what you mean. The pi rast of color is clear. Corey? What you mean the pi rast of color? Like, I'm assuming you're dealing with pi. Yeah, terms of greatness. No, I don't deal with any race realism. I don't deal with any race. All I'm saying is where the human should exist is in a hotter climate. Anything beyond that is an unhealthy, decayed version. The farther you get away from the sun, which is the thing that gives life, the less you'll see. Go somewhere that's very cold. Things don't live there. It's a basic concept. The sun and the earth are the life-giving things. And when you get to somewhere that's cold and has ISIS, it has snow on the ground, things don't grow. So what should be eaten? Should you be there eating the fruit? Well, there's no fruit there. Should be digging up how did you get there to begin with? Nothing would have been born near the cold. So the climate thing and the color of the skin, we should be outside in the sun, and how dark and our features and things will be regulated upon, by our environment, and how much melanin we have in our skin is subject to at least a little bit of debate, like how much my genes that I'll give to my children will bring on melanin into their life, their skin color. But yeah. Corey Lafferty, what you talking about? Black is blow. Black is not blow. Black is bleach. Black is, just spell it. It's be lack. It's to lack something. Black is to be lack, to lack the be, which is mother. So without a mother, you're black. Black means darkness. Darkness is empty. What up, Alchem? Is anybody here having a racial debate? I'm not. Oh man, Manny Farm, you listen to the History Channel? Well, that's your first problem. Turn the TV off. I don't know. Gary Baxter, I don't know. I don't know why he would have been blue. I think it just had to do with the energy of, say, what's coming up off of my head right now. It's a blue light of Krishna. Yeah, I don't know about being built for this or not. I mean, I see myself as a god, and I was built here, and I'm part of this earth, and I'm as original and aboriginal as anything else. Just because something grows up to the sun, what are you going to stand there, and your hair is going to reach the sun? That's ridiculous. I mean, you know, this is all labels and things, but we all do have different degrees of melanation. But there is no like if the melanated version of reality was the strongest, then why are the dark melanated people not winning? Why hasn't the world been controlled and dominated by the melanated individual? You know, it's senseless to get into any kind of debate other than say, hey, there's a whole spectrum of colors here. The yellow people, the blue people, there's the yellow people, the blue people, there's no white and there's no brown. There's the red people. You know, there's shades of these things, and it's kind of where they fit into the spectrum from the Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer and the equator, because that's the climates that people should be living in. That going out anywhere beyond that was only research for those peoples, and then the people that got outside of that, the only time that you'd ever need to kill an animal is once you got into a colder climate. And why would you need to live there? Because there was no food to eat. Yeah, I mean, it's all about carbon. Well, what is carbon though? Isn't it all about what is the structure of the hair? It's not carbon. Wouldn't you say that instead of being about carbon or the arc bond, you relinquish yourself from the arc bond or the carbon bonding to things, and you would become what is the next seemingly what trees used to be made of, or as people talked about these forests that didn't exist, and there was these giant trees made out of what? Silica. Silica has look at the difference between silica and carbon. Look at the difference between charcoal and, or excuse me, a diamond and a crystal. Look at the form of these things. So there's something about silica that seems to be of a higher systemic or systematic order of things that seems to be was cut down. And if you will get into all of the research that's done about melanin, what you'll find is there's quite a bit of people on the History Channel that are white people talking about the melanin. Like, well, then why isn't this fat ass that's done all this research into melanin at the equator getting darker? Why is he fat, disgusting, and talking about some research he did in a laboratory with white jacket in the middle of fucking Wisconsin? Maybe he's right, and maybe these people, you know, like maybe it is, but once again, what is energy? It seems to have something to do with melanin. I'm not discrediting that. I think that's really powerful, and there's a lot to do with melanin here, but again, I would talk to the red-haired people. I'd talk to Genghis Khan. I would talk to the Asian people. I would talk to the very white people, the blue-eyed people that seem to see things differently. I'd talk to the very dark-skinned people. I'd talk to the very curly-haired people. I'd wonder why all that is different. And if there's intelligence and power, why does it seem to be the Zionist or the hook-nosed, unmelanated, fake Jew-ish person seemingly controlling the media and everything? And why is the black pope actually a white guy? And why is, and what does that have to do with any sort of control out of the architects of what's going on this planet? But those are all just questions stylized for people's need to know who's running things here. But as far as I know, I'm running shit here. How's that? And apparently you are too. And that's the point of the story every single time. Is, you know, it's a fun little thing to get into the history and heritage of things, and where did people come from, where are we going, and who did the thing with the stuff with the giant empires, and what should they look like. But, you know, once we start doing that, we're back into dividing things and getting away from the atom. We're getting away from the atom. Is the atom melanated? The atom is the most powerful thing. What do I need melanin for in that atom? The fact that people can live in cold climates says something about the essential being of consciousness and the atom itself. The atom is apparently 99% space. And that one thing that's spinning around, why is it spinning? Why is it living? How cold can it be before it's not there? How hot can it be? Can you melanate an atom? The atom is immortal. I'm the atomic man. I am Adam. I'm Zen Atman, the atom, the atomic being of all things. So are you, apparently. How much do I need? What else do I need? How much melanin do I need in my diet, in my skin, in my being? And why must we divide it? I seem to be and TikTok, I seem to have less carbon in my system at some times, and less melanin in my system. I don't feel less powerful. Maybe I have more silica in my system. I'm more advanced. Maybe I'm a silica being. You see you see a tree on the outside, it has brown bark, but inside the color of the tree is white. We'll call it tan. The inside of the tree is this color. The outside of the tree is this color. Very melanated. Where is the melanation at? What about people that are melanated but shave their head? Where's all that power gone? What about people that are melanated but shave their beard? Why are they getting rid of all that power? Corey Lafferty, Flower Bower, Faux. Hey, Corey Lafferty, who are you? What are you? Yeah. Blue shade is the whitewashing. Yeah, it is. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. What up, Alchem? Yeah, the source is tan or brown. It's like tan, cream, and brown. This is what's up. What's up, Logan Lanthrop? Where'd you come from? What up, Unstance? I don't take any offense to that. In terms of greatness, yeah, I'm transient. I travel and I find places that I feel comfortable in, and the people require some of my assistance, and there seems to be a place that both of those things occur in mass. You know what I mean? I've been at little small towns here and there, and I've been to a lot of big cities and other cities, and I'm just comfortable here. But yeah, I might go to Florida for a little bit and just get a little bit of beach time and sun rays and get a little more extra melanin. Sitting on those white beaches of silica from the trees that got cut down. Yeah, Electric Tower, I watched that. You sent me that a long time ago. I watched that Flatland thing. That's interesting. I like it. Corey Lafferty, my WordPress link is Zen Alchemist. ZenAlchemist.wordpress. And yeah, man, that's from a few years back, but you'll find a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah, Manny Farm, that's a pretty, I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but like just to like pop off on some shit like that, that's some wild shit. I mean, maybe I don't say I disagree with you, but what was the parasite? Where did it come over? Where did they first? You know, this to say something that basic is kind of like this rudimentary. It's sophomoric, in fact. To say something like the parasites took over the European mind. Who was the European to begin with, and what was the parasite, and why weren't we all one species? Why weren't we all one race? So, like, to answer if you can answer those questions, I'm happy to dive down into that kind of stuff. But I always find it, you know, as much as I've studied and researched and looked into and got out of body and all this shit, it seems unidentifiable. It seems the riddle won't be solved about what race did we come from. Where did we, you know, where was the divide? How did it occur? Other than the mind of God created itself and then made man and woman, and then all of a sudden we just started dividing things up. How it occurred, it's hard to tell. And to go farther into this, to get into like at Manny Farm, to get a little farther into this, let's do this. Let's stop being speciesists. Like me and you are talking here. Are there two cats over there around the corner, or two dogs over there talking, communicating, thinking they're the highest level of species the way we think we are? Cats and dogs don't have a system in place that literally poisons each other. Anybody think about how intelligent we are when in fact we have people out here that are poisoning the water that everyone drinks, and that are giving us pills that we buy and enslaving us into systems? What was the parasite? No parasite has made cats and dogs and other animals come up with some ingenious system that enslaves each other, right? So what is this system? Where did this parasite come from? And what is the parasite? Is the parasite itself not a system of life? What is the parasite's goal? Why are, you know, what is it exactly? Because we can look at things now and say technology is a parasite. To a degree, sure, but then all of a sudden I go, well, here I am. I'm talking to all of you, and you're all learning from me, and I guarantee what I do is to bring life to things. So I don't find myself parasitic, right? And I find myself on here talking through something. So now all of a sudden is technology no longer parasitic? And again, Zach Chrono, if it's all based on skull and bone structure, where did the first skull and bone structure come from? Have you looked at them yourself, or are you just repeating things that you've seen on the internet? And I'm not being a dick here. I'm just actually saying, like, where are these skull and bone structures? And I'm not taking away or adding to anything. I'm just trying to say, go back to the beginning. What was the first thing? And how did those things turn into what we are now, and how many years ago? Is there a de-evolution? What was the first thing? Was there evolution? Do you believe we jumped out of the water as fish? We started fucking and farting and creating things that were more advanced? I mean, to me, that's insane, right? But, okay, did somebody just drop us here, and we were one black melanated version? Or did we come here and we were one white, Caucasian-esque, unmelanated version, and we found our way to the sun? And then the people that weren't near the sun is how we started, and we all found that it's better to be next to the sun. I mean, these are just questions because I think they're both valid, and I think they both have their merits. But, you know, let's get into, well, did our genes get split with the monkeys? Meaning, did somebody do some laboratory type shit via, like, looking at your boy Lloyd Pye's work, the intervention theory, not evolution, not creation, but some sort of creative evolution that occurred by taking the genes of a monkey and mixing it with a higher species genes to create what the human is. Thus, why don't monkeys grow beards and have to shave like we do? Why is our hair on the chest but theirs is on the back? How did we become weaker? How did we become less? How did we all of a sudden get rid of those big, you know, incisors to go, and all of a sudden, how did, you know, like, depending on how you think we evolved, was it the chimp, was it the thing, was it the ape, was it the, okay, were they vegetarian? Why do all of a sudden we think we need to eat meat? How did we become weaker? So there's a lot of all these questions that come into these theories that people, that immediately become, well, you can't answer that because you don't know, so your theory is kind of bunk. And I'm not talking to you, I'm just saying it in a larger way. that it's a really difficult task to get back to where did this come from? What's the most advanced thing on the planet, and who's strongest, who's in charge? What's this? Because as far as I can see, as far as I can tell, the most intelligent person that I know is myself. And if I just look at myself and look at myself in a mirror, I'd be like, well, apparently my hair is not curling up to the sun, but I find myself much more intelligent than a lot of people that I've met with sun that curls up to the sun, because depending on what does that mean, you know? And then I find these little Asian people, right, that they can juggle their fucking, but then I'm Caucasian, right? Caucasian, and the mountainous people that came down and mixed with the fish-eating people with the slanty fish-eyed, but all of a sudden they can play the piano while juggling 6 things. I'm like, I can't do that. Where did that hyper-intelligence come from? So we find these levels of intelligence that exist in different forms, in different spaces, in different environments, in different human-looking things that we seem to be the spirit inside of this body. But what seems to be the common denominator of who we are and how do we advance as a species? To me, who we are is atomic, and how do we advance? Maybe it's melanin, but I mean, I can't say that that's certainly it, because melanin, if it's connected to carbon, I'm looking at carbon, I'm saying I don't think carbon is as strong or as intelligent as silicone. And if we look at what silicone was, it was the tree in the beginning, the middle part of the tree, which was the silicone, is actually this color. It's not brown, it's not the thing that's around the skin suit, the bark of it, the bark that's falling off, the living part of the tree that actually unifies all things and brings all the information up and down the plant, is the color of me. But what do I know? I don't know. It seems to be. Yeah, IQ, intelligent quotient based upon what? Who are these Jews? Tiger Strong? Which Jews are you talking about? The Jews or the Jewish? And how insane. What, they have a higher IQ based upon the tests that they made and designed and architected the system that they orchestrated? IQ tests tell you nothing about how intelligent you are, how empathy driven you are, how loving you are, how able you are to design and build things. It tells you nothing about that. It just tells you have a higher number on a test that was designed to equate things. And if I say to someone that this equates to this, well, the test that was designed by the school systems, architected by the Jewish people, which were in charge of the school systems, a part of the church is part of the, and we go play this whole game, we'll find that the connection that you need to make on these tests to get a higher score, a higher number, is to make a connection that they would make. Not a connection that you would make. Inner city kids, you could look back in the early 80s when IQ tests, like, look at this disparaging things here. Why are they getting like 90s and they're getting 150s, right? How does that happen? Because the association the child would have that lived in an inner city would be associated in their neighborhood, what was going on in their general environment, not the larger world. So their environment would only allow them to see, if they saw, say, a can of Coca-Cola, they would associate that maybe with their mother getting her ass beat by her father, right? Because that's what he was seeing in his local environment. So every time he would drink a Coca-Cola or drink a, that was his association. But in another environment, that Coca-Cola meant that the association was winning a soccer game. Look at that. Who's got the higher IQ score? The person that actually followed the orders of what the test was looking for it to be designed by. So IQ, I can't be sure about that. My power is not in my hair. Ilmencia, my power is in the same place your power is, I would assume. In your imagination and creativity, your atomic structure of your being. That's where it lies, it appears. And Corey Lafferty, did you get the WordPress? Did you hear me already? ZenAlchemist.wordpress. Ilmencia, yeah, I am all over the place, aren't I? Interesting. Feel free to ask a question and I'll get into it for you. You just, I didn't show up here you know, you weren't here, so I was kind of just dealing with a couple questions people had on these advanced subjects and topics. But what do you want to know about? Ilmincia, you don't have to know anything. Why do you have to know this? Why are you here? It'd be the same question. What do you need to know? If it says USDA organic or non-GMO, it's safe to eat. I don't know. Eldrin, what do you think? It's not, Ilmencia, nothing is important. Nothing matters. But this is just entertainment. I'm just here to entertain you. There's nothing you need to know. If you're not entertained, go find some entertainment. Nice. Well, Imencia, if you've heard it all, why are you still here? That's the point of the story, huh? Yeah, here. Okay, so the floor is yours, Ilmencia. Go for it. I'm to the bottom of this here, so Ilmencia, ask a question that you require the answer to from all of the universal. Yes. You. Okay, that's this challenging. What are we? I'm not. Am I challenging? Or are you challenging? What is the challenge? Is that what it is? That what it is? A full moon in Gemini. So, Ilmencia, what is it that you'd like to know? This may be the why people get offended so fast. I'm not sure. Talk to yourself. There you go. I would say piss into your eyeballs. Look into. Okay, Imencia, how about this? I have a question for you. What is the point of you being here? You seem to know everything, and nothing offends you. So what? I mean, I don't get why you're here. You seem to just be like, as I suggested earlier, you're not really here for any reason other than to just talk shit, which is cool. I like that. I was out here for like a bunch of other people, so I was wondering, like, if you need some help, if you want some help, I'll offer you answers to whatever it is that you'd like to know. But apparently, you don't need to know anything. Yeah, anybody else? Here, I got an idea. Anybody wants to know anything, feel free to ask a question. And what's up, Gary Baxter? You know what, I'm shutting everybody off. Me and Gary Baxter are having a conversation from this point on. I already given like 6 hours today of this. I don't know if I think this might be the end of it right here, because it's turned into a free-for-all with a bunch of people that have nothing really nothing really to offer, and that don't really butter your sight by pissing in your eyes. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm gonna take a shit, and I'm gonna cook it up, and I'm gonna have a glass of piss. I'm gonna eat my shit too, because that is the next step. The evolution of humans are to eat their own poo-poo. It would be a poo-poo platter. It's very, see, this is the proof that evolution is to become more Chinese, because they love the poo-poo platter. Lumeno, I've not done that yet, but I will soon. And we're gonna, hey Gary Baxter, we can get on the Shatarian diet. Ah, Shatarian, I like it. That would be amazing. I do like it. I do like it. Oh. Define the word atheist. Ilmincia. Define that for me. How, I mean, didn't you already hear me? How could I be an atheist if I believe that I am God? That wouldn't make any sense, would it? What up, Sun Soul? If I've already said explicitly that I believe I'm God and so are you, how is it that you would think that I might be? Yes, this is true. And that's YOU''RE. You are. And you can put an exclamation point after that. What up, Jordan? And the Alchem, I am. Say, there you go, Alchem. Just instead of saying to, say I am God. Let them know. It's real quick. What did I create? I created apparently this environment that you'd come into and ask a lot of redundant, ridiculous, silly questions. And we could have a lot of little games to play. What have I created? A lot of different things. It's everywhere. Look around. That computer screen you're looking at, I created that. Yeah, I did wonder. What's up, Tiger Strong? I assume you're asking... You're not asking me that. Are you asking whatever the other person's name is? Or thing? So I got a couple more minutes. If we could turn this into something... yeah, exactly. Samuel on War. I know that cat, but not that well. Gnostic movement. I don't know there was one. I thought everyone on the planet was a Gnostic to some degree. You have Gnostics, meaning people that would like to know things, then you have people that don't like to know things, that are automatons. So I assume there's either people that are evolving in a sense of creating and participating in all the things and becoming better and more part of the exploration of self and consciousness. And that would seem to be a Gnostic. And you have people that just go, no, I like my McDonald's, I'm going to drive through and get my, I assume there's just those two things. So I don't know anything about 50 different religions. There's one religion, and that's to have allegiance to anything outside of self, which is, or there's seemingly the Gnostic thing would be to have self-knowledge, knowledge of self, and knowing what's going, it's what the world is about. At Reza, to be a member, one needs to remember. Well, to be a member, one needs to mem. Try that again, Reza. To be a member, one needs to mem. Hey, Alchem, have fun at Thor, man. That's an awesome movie. I just went and seen that. It's really amazing. Are you going to go 3D? Or are you going to watch the pedestrian version? Yeah, in terms of greatness, when people ask me about the future thing, I think there's so many different timelines, but I think the future is bright. the politics and money and community and all that. I think it's, if there's any evolution that happens, it has to be towards interspecies, interconnectedness, and higher level thinking for people. I think there are plenty of people that continue along the journey into following the status quo, the state-run educational system, and believing in that kind of things, those kind of things. But I think as a whole, it apparently gets better. Apparently, seems to be. It appears so. I mean, beyond that, I've answered that many, many times. It's just such a big question to really get into the specifics of what does the future look like. It depends on what version of the future you'll be seeing me in, or what version of the future I'll be seeing you in. Yeah, VR, virtual reality. Everybody's gonna. Yeah, that's like the idiocracy. Yeah. Well, Immensia, here. I'll just go ahead and just be like, hey, can you bounce, because you're not welcome at this party anymore. How's that? Because you're just kind of, you were here for the last thing and then you came again, and there's not anything you really want to know. You just like, you do want to spit and shit and stir filth around for no reason. So, you want to roll out of here because it's just kind of annoying. Apparently, other people kind of notice that too. So, if you could leave, that would be excellent, or I'll just ban you. But I don't do that. And I'd rather not stop this show on account of one person. Everybody's gonna have to suffer because you're twatish. we could turn this into a Zen humor hour where I can just like, burn, just cut and burn dumb assholes. Ilmencia, you don't tell me what to do. I will get upset with you if I want, and I am upset. Can you tell I'm outraged? I'm outraged with your behavior. Doesn't everyone mean well? Why say mean? Why say mean if you're not so mean? Yeah. Conspiracy theorist. Conspiracy theorist. You got me doing Mike Tyson there. Nice. Conspiracy theorist. Twatish. Yes. Oh, thank you for teaching me a lesson. I do appreciate that. You're a magical teacher. You probably should not do it for a living. Interesting. Like, it's funny on the internet. People have a lot to say when it's in the comment section, but in real life, you're the kind of person that would never do this. In the real world, but in here you get a little bit of space, and you're like, it's funny. It's cute because you're like kind of overtaking my talk, but it allows me more stage to just say, look at this silly person. Look at this really silly. I'm sure you're a good person. You're an awfully good person. I'm sure. Irrelevant to the construct of like, why come here and waste your time and my time? So it goes back to this: either you're starved for attention, or you're paid to do this, or you're absolutely like you really need help. And so I've offered it, and I offered it earlier, and instead of actually accepting it, you're just being belligerent, which is fine. It seems wasteful to everybody else in the room. Help you, okay? How would you like helped? There we go, Gary Baxter. Me too. I learn from myself, and I'm quite adult. I like a good word though, by the way. Tiger Strong, are you saying that I'm saying dumb shit? I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I just wonder why you're here. No. I'm just sitting here. I'm just on camera for everybody here. I said I was going to come back and do this third show just for you, Elemen and Sumuncia, whatever your name is. I got other things I can do. I just came here for you specifically because I said I would. But thank you. You know what? I don't require your liking of me. It's irrelevant to my existence. Your idea of me. Why not? Why would I need you to? I don't know who you are. Hey, Gary, would you like to moderate for me? Gary be like, you're out of here. Out of here. Yeah. It is cute though. Do you make videos, Ilmencia? Do you make, well, but I'm not sure that I want your love. Because I've seen people say they love animals and then yet they go eat a hamburger. I see people talk about love all the time, yet they do absurd, immoral, impractical, absurd, disgusting, filthy, inhuman things that claim they love all the time. So I'm not sure that I want your love. Because I don't know how you define such things. Conthery Spirit. You know what's funny is that there's a lot of them that I've done. It's delightful to me. Why else would I do anything? You know, everything is self-serving, right? If I thought it was for any other reason, it'd be ridiculous. Everyone should do something self-serving to make themselves feel better, and by feeling better, I actually go out into the community at large, and I have a better time, and people have a better time around me. And so the people that show up to these things don't tend to spiral down into this nonsense, but no, Elemencia, you're not understanding. I don't really care what you think either way. Any way you put it, I don't know what your hate is. I don't know what your love is. I don't know. But I mean, this is just becoming redundant and silly. So I don't really have. Why should I care? What up, Rising Love? What up, Radical Thought? Yes, and exactly. Of course, Conthery Spirit. Well, why would you do that, though, Lamencia? Isn't that the point of the story? I've actually sat on here for another show just for you, to give you whatever you'd like after you came into my last show and disrupted things by saying stupid shit and then talking shit, and now you want to send me bad energy. That seems pretty narcissistic and ridiculous on your behalf. Why are you here? Like, obviously just to interrupt the show. For everyone else, the other 23 people in the room, how dare you? You know? Energy is energy, bad or good. It's all the same thing. It's just entertainment to me. Like this, out of all the shows I've done, this is just funny to me. This is just for me now. I don't know. Gary Baxter. Are you saying that to me, Gary Baxter? Gary Baxter, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you, Gary? I knew. Apparently. You know what? Speak for yourself. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to attend a jazz funeral right now. Terms of greatness, what do I think of the serpent archetype? Like how our intestines are like rattlesnakes and Satan being like the snake. I like that idea. I always wonder about the original connection of the snake being a positive energy, and how the worms and things that people get in their intestines actually become a succubus of energy, where in reality the snake was the original source of the energy. Thus all of the S's and the serpents and this the power that's held within what the S is, that coils itself around the one, the snake around the egg even, which can crush the egg to open up a new whatever. So the serpent energy and the snake energy and all of that, I think originally the connection, because again, there is no evil in the world, there's no like Satan doing something ill, or there's no, there's none of that. So I think originally it was just an energetic construct that got turned into worms in people's stomach. I don't know how that happened though. I don't know what that first parasite was, or that first, there's always, where did the weird shit come from? Where did that parasitic force come from? I don't know. That's always the question that you get to that point. Like it's hard to find history or heritage prior to a certain point of where did that first. I don't know, the thing that caused the great divide and the great division in the universe. When you say universe or self-verse, or why is it that doesn't look like me? Oh wait, I want a new adventure. So the thought, the mind, this goes into the thing that it was the mind that split itself to see itself, and that looks too much like me. Okay, I'm bored of that. Let me see something that doesn't look like what I think I look like in a mirror. And then the white mirror and the black mirror were created, and then all of a sudden we play all the allegory of the Hall of Mirrors. But originally the snake was the energy of the earth. The snake being burrowed in the earth, so the mother and the snake are very connected. Thus the dragon mother and the dragon and the snake connection. Rising McCain. I've done Satanism, statism so many times. I don't want to dig into that again right now, because it's irrelevant. Everyone, if you have a watch on your hand, you're a Satanist, because Satan is connected to Old Father Time, which is Saturn. Saturn is Satan. Saturn is the controller of time. He's the controller of the watches. The watches are the time. If you have a watch on your wrist, then you're controlled by Satan, and you're a Satanist. You're a statist, a Satanist, and a Saturnian. You're part of the Saturnian Brotherhood. You know, there's no wrong, good, bad. It's indifferent. It's just, it allows things to be placed in certain areas on this realm. And yes, funerals are fun in NOLA. Our God's lazy. I don't know what lazy is. You know, lackadaisical, lazy, comfortable. I don't know. The symbol of the snake around the two ones is basically well, first there was one with the snake around it, but then he put two ones with the snake around it. So the symbol is basically binding together of something. Like if you look in the back of a dime, it was for fascism, but that wasn't the original intent. It was more about like your spine, right? Your spine was the one singular spine, and the energy, there was two snakes wrapping around the singular spine, which was the red and the blue snake, or the masculine and the feminine, or the hot and the cold, the east and the west, these kind of ideas. It tensed up the spine, which would, you know, put you in like this, so you could basically throw that energy up into the skull, Golgotha. Now that's all symbolic. You can do it internally. You can do it when you're playing sports. You can do it sitting in meditation. You can do it sitting right here. It's the same thing. It's why the spine is the same thing as the penis, right? Penis, spine. It's the same word. It's the same, like raising that fluid up here is the same thing as like raising fluid out of your penis. It's the same thing. You're putting it into the cave of creation. If the cave is out there as in a feminine or a vagina, a black cave of creation, you put the seed in there. The little snake goes in there, goes around the egg, and creates life. If you do it up your spine, it goes into here and becomes an idea, and it becomes that light on the forehead right there. You know? So Gary, when you say you finish an 8-day fast, water at night only, did you eat during the day? I'm just going to call you Spherist from now on, because I want to stop doing that Mike Tyson thing, because I'm actually tripping on how you did that. It's really funny. The snake or the egg? Did Pandora's box come first, or did the ideas and energy in the box come first? I mean, that's the way to look at it. Now, if you really, 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 really want to know, what came first? The The house or the builder? The builder. What came first? This table or the mind? The mind came first. So if you can put that into your equation, the thinker came first. The thought came first. The meta came first. The imagination came first. The concept and the realization of the concept comes after. We're very far away now where we use concepts to then realize something else, to create something else, to realize the concept and blah, 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 blah. But the first thing was only thought. The thought form created the universe. So the metaphysician and the energy came first. So the snake came first, the chicken came first. And they thought, how to do this? I need to make an egg to house my next life. Oh man, terms of greatness, good stuff. Different kinds of music on us, yeah. I've gotten into this a couple times. About the different kinds of radio stations that they're on. If you looked at the numbers of the radio station and you go to any city and the same types of numbers actually are part of those same types of sounds, and then we find that the radio stations that are playing the rock music, the hardcore, the classical, those things are going to sit in different types of vibrations, and they're going to be doing different things to the body. They're actually playing with different organs and systems within the body. Some are helping and some are healing and some are decaying and destroying. So yeah, they all definitely do have quite a bit. Like if you say you have heavy metal in your system, and you go think about it, heavy metal music, there's no one anywhere in any way that listens to heavy metal music that is a healthy person. It's just that simple. If you have heavy metal in your body, you're not healthy. It's a decaying destruction process. It's a Shiva principle. Nothing wrong with it. Like again, this is not good and bad. This is healthy and unhealthy. It's steering towards unhealth. Heavy metal in the body, I bet if you looked at the frequencies of what heavy metals are in the body and you looked at the frequencies that heavy metal music is putting off, I bet you'll find they're in an exact they're in the exact same spot on the whole, like within this octave, here we have this. In this octave we have this. I bet you'll find they're in the same position within their representative octaves. So yeah, it's it's obvious. You can tell when it's good music. And you know what's funny is when you find people that like shitty music, they don't like the sound of good music because it's too healthy and it's healing. You don't find too many people that like all varieties of music. And you find that healthy people don't like shitty music. It's just that simple. You like pop music, top 40 pop bullshit, I want to puke. Rap music makes me want to puke. Hip hop, good, like thoughtful, wise. Like I grew up on it. I make beats. Like yeah, lovely. But shit's out there today, no way. Rock music that my friends make that I listen to that has, you know, something else going on there, a little jazz influence, lovely. Rock music on the thing, It's on the radio. It's for a reason. It's putting you into a trance. It ain't good shit. There's some in there that's all right that makes its way through. But as a general thing, as a general rule, no. Music is a methodology in which to control things. It's hypnotic. Thus, all music is the same length on the radio. But in the real world, how long does a song have to go on for? How long should it? Why is it always got to be in 4/4? Why is it got to be like 88 beats per minute? There's nothing real about that. It's a suggestion to put you in a hypnotic state, in a hypnotic trance, to make you to believe certain things. Whatever they're saying in that song, most people can listen to that beat all day. They don't even know what the fuck the song said. All of a sudden, that's planted in your subconscious, and you're wondering why you feel a certain way. Well, because you listen to shitty-ass music. Well, Saga Strong, that'd be great, man. That'd be awesome. Let me know. What up, Daniel Benson? Yeah, the rise in love. Yeah, we are the immortals. Apparently, did we just forget those other lives we lived? I mean, to a degree. It depends on how far you go up that ladder of the spectrum, which is triangular. And so, as we go up levels, we're compressing time until you're like the emitting agent of all of creation that holds time within it and then spits it out, and we walk along these paths. So I'm living this life. Did I have one that was like right behind me before I came into this body? Yeah, probably. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say which one it was. I can't remember it. Sometimes maybe I think I'm out of body. Am I in my last life? Or am I in a parallel life? Or am I actually in your life? Like I've been in times where I'm like, I'm looking in a mirror and I see somebody else. I'm like, is this actually someone that lives in the middle of Tennessee that I'm looking through their eyes in a mirror? Because I've had that third person thing where I had no control of the body, but I was observing, and I had other times where I was in complete control of somebody else's body. Was that in a parallel timeline? Was that somebody else's body, or was that a past life or a future life, or just some imagination? Yeah, who knows? Sometimes I think you can make a little more like certainty when you maybe put something in your reality. Like if I put something on this table when I go to sleep tonight, I leave something underneath this table or something, and I come back and it's sitting here, I could pretty much assure that I did that for myself with one of my other bodies. Kia, and sexual energy and rising the Kundalini, it's one of the easiest ways to do it. The point of it is not to release it unless you have a purpose for releasing the energy, especially for the male. But for the female, it'd be more the energy is engulfing. It's complementary but opposite to a degree for the woman. The woman should be having more of the actual orgasmic experience, where the man should be holding on to the seed unless he plans to drop it in and make something out of it, or use it on, say, a sigil, or as here's the woman he's with, the semen becomes then the lifeblood to heal the other person. Facial, it helps the face. Put it all over the body. It's there you go. So it can be something, but in the terms of Kundalini, to keep it inside or outside, if you keep it in the mind, then no matter what you do, you'll still have energy. This goes to the conversation that we had yesterday, and I'm going to go too far into this one again, but it has to do with like your mentality about like, did you lose energy during sex? You could have sex with somebody and not complete the act and still lose energy, or you could gain energy. There's been times I've been with people that after having, where I would normally be tired afterwards, I was not. In fact, I had more energy. Did I become very feminine, where after having an orgasm, I was like up cooking pancakes, ready to go run around the day, right? That's women. But there has been times I've been with people that was the thing, that was the result. And so that was me more like, even though I had physically let go of semen, that the Kundalini, or the energy within my body, was still there, and in fact increased. In terms of greatness, the clues to understanding via language like spine and penis being connected, do you think that's intentional? Yeah, I think there's something, it's so hard to tell at what point that became the thing, but we can look through so many ways that the language and numbers and everything is constructed. Like, wow, it's pretty amazing how interconnected letters and structures and sounds and language, and how did it get there? It's really hard to tell, but it seems like it was done. It seems like it was done by someone that knew what they were doing. Something, whatever you want to call it, or the whole caboodle of information. Rising love, how do we master our chi power? I don't know how to master it. It seems to be like, do what you want. Like this goes back into the key, the video that I did on the key to happiness. I think it's the same thing. What makes you happy? That would be the key to mastering it. If you had how much power do you have? Can we gauge it? Can we tell? If I stand here and I can pick up 20 pounds, but this person can pick up 100 pounds, are they happier than me? Can they be happier than me? Do they have the capacity to be 100 pounds worth of happiness, and I only have 20 pounds worth of happiness? There's what, and then in that becomes like, what do we do with the chi? What do we do with the key? and the key is the chi, right? The chi is the energy to start the car, to start the arc. The arc being the energy to the thing that you're in to go do whatever it is you want. So it seems like you answered it. All you have to do is use it, I guess. Do you enjoy using it? Do you enjoy doing? That's what it is. Sometimes it takes relaxing and napping and absorbing and introverting the energy, and sometimes it's extroverting the energy. And Zet Chrono, I don't know how to do that. I know people can. I've been close, but yeah. Spherist, what 3 to 5 musics have the highest frequency? I don't know. You'd probably look into like classical Indian music. Look into. I know there's a lot of there's a lot of quality to a lot of the instruments and music that's made on different rhythms and beats. Be it like African tribal music with the drums, but from a higher level of frequency, you can look into people that use different instruments. There's a song called "Why Put Down the Flute and Pick Up a Drum," and it has to do with the drums, with like a warring kind of thing. But there's also power in it in a different way, versus like a violin and a guitar or a sitar. So I think sitar music. If you find something with sitar in it, then there's something in the way. It's called a sitar, rather than a guitar. So, yeah, I would just find the older the music, probably, and the go with what makes you feel good to begin with. That's the best kind of music. What takes you to a new place or a higher place? Zach Crona, you damn right about country. Electric Towel, thank you for the funny joke there. That was always the joke the rooster did. Okay, Bradical Thought, you talking about the frequencies. There's a standard place that everything should be moved. Like, if you're sitting here at 440 versus 432, you're already starting everything off at the wrong location. If you're starting something at a frequency that is already not harmonic with constructive vibrations and waves, then everything that you're making after that is going to suffer. Meaning it's not going to organize information properly. So every music, there'll probably be different frequencies to start different musics at. Not just 432, but 432, 528. There might even be other ones, and there certainly are other ones that you could start with different instruments and different kinds of music. That would be a better choice. But what's popularized now, what's understood now is, hey, let's start with let's just get 440 for the piano back to 432. So I'm a little far behind. I'm going to try to scroll through and catch up here, but I need a little bit of juice left on my phone, and we're about an hour and a half in here. So I may turn this into an all-night thing and charge my other piece of equipment up and continue on here in a little while, but What up, Unstance? Oh, you never noticed that? I thought you've been around long enough where you know what? There's always like these simple things that I don't repeat because I figured everybody already knew them. Yeah, Archon car, man, that's a big one. Go watch that really early video I did on, I think it's even called Arcs and Cars, and I make the whole analogy of the car and the human body and consciousness. And there's one that I do on the house too. You like those? Fela Kuti is really good. I think everybody has spirit animals. I think you have one probably from every, in terms of greatness, I think you have one from every density, meaning I think you have an earth-dwelling animal, I think you have an air animal, I think you have a water animal. I feel like I found the three of mine to a certain degree. So yeah, I think that everybody has a spirit animal. And it's funny, you ever see somebody with a dog? They always look like their dog, or their dog looks like them. It's weird, huh? Rising Love, what you talking about? Why haven't I been at home with you? Rising Love, what you mean? Why haven't I been at home with us? What you talking about? Yeah, that's why somebody earlier today was talking about their car being busted, and I said, well, look into the car and you might understand, like, there's a relationship to the pieces in a car and maybe your human body, that there's a reference to it. But I made it in the basic ways about the tires and the wheels and the rights and the wills and even the hex nuts. The hex nuts are the witches' hexes, and the hexes are spells that keep the wheels on the rights of on the engine and the wheel of the, yeah, there's a bunch in there. And then the house, I did the house one, which has to do with the ohms and the frequencies and the electrical system in the house, and the square D panels that hold the electricity. Yeah. Oh, you talking, Rising Love, you talk about my house. Oh, I just haven't been there very much. Well, thanks for saying it. I just haven't been there. I don't know. It was lonely there. It's been without the energy of feminine energy, other than my own feminine energy. And like you can only be in your own space for so long with your own being that it becomes kind of empty and isolating and without another energy in it. Kind of, it's like staring at the same walls, looking at the same shit, Well, Kia, come by and make curry, please. I love curry. Oh, Rising Love, I get you. I'm never alone, but but you are alone. Come on. Sitting in the same space for a long time is a little bit contrary. It's nice to sit there in meditation, but Karuna, why can't women live without men is the same question, I assume, huh? Why can't men live without women is why women can't live without men, is why the next species, the next evolution of whatever happens can't happen without both being together. That's pretty much the answer, huh? Yeah, Rise and Love, I'm working on that. I'm trying to get back there. I just haven't. I've been cast out of the dream world. I mean, I'm being facetious. I just haven't been very capable of bringing back the memory of the dream world too much. I've been somewhat semi-lucid, and so my capacity just hasn't been there. So yeah, y'all, I'm about to kick it out of here and go find a place to put my hair on my head. Yeah, man, will do. Okay, y'all. So for anybody coming here that got, for whatever reason, if you're here in the future and you made it through all of this incoherent, ambivalent, rambling and incoherent ridiculousness from the silly people that came here tonight that wanted to push buttons and play games. This isn't the usual context of a Zen talk. It's been loud today. It's been loud. What's this? He's probably really awesome. Probably a cool person. Screaming about everything all the time. So yeah, so anybody in the future that decides they would like to benefit humanity by putting currency into my system so I don't just fade away into nothing, feel free to donate money into or currency into my account via the things beneath. And if you don't, just enjoy the talks, and you can always hit the thumbs up. This one I wouldn't even suggest doing that. It was a pretty lame talk, but at least the first two were fun. Your car, Gary Baxter, the whispering car. Do you whisper into the little man on a boat in your car? Hey, come on, just go a little faster. Come on, just keep it moving. Cool, y'all. Talk to you soon. Good to see you, Lumeno. And we'll chat. A couple of you people. I think Lumeno, I got to get back at you on the Gmail and everything. So we'll talk soon. Stay well, do good things. I'm gonna go drink some beer and try to make a human friend. Have a good night, y'all.